my name is Camila, and I'm the managing director of Untried, where we use AI to create what I call the internal brain for enterprises. In short, we connect people with the right information, which is especially crucial for time-sensitive situations. We make the internal knowledge accessible, similar to what Google did, but for the external resources. I strongly believe that AI will be the defining technology of our times. And on today's talk, I will try, or at least I will explain, or at least I will try, why we, the consumers, the builders, the decision makers, should start embracing and advocating for use and implementation of AI systems in our lives and the workplaces. I will also share with you a couple of examples of projects where AI has been used to improve both commercial and public focused outcomes. Firstly, I want you to notice that you are surrounded by AI-powered inventions, sometimes without even knowing that they use AI. Alexa, Uber, Amazon recommendation engines, they are all stuffed with AI. AI-powered robots are everywhere, from those cleaning your house to AI-enabled drones delivering blood to the most remote places. But these are all examples of specialized AI, as there is no such thing as artificial general intelligence, the super intelligence agent that understands and learns any intellectual tasks that a human being can. At least it's not yet. It's not possible. I want you to notice that all the examples I'm going to show you and walk you through on this talk are all specialized AI, the narrow type of AI. When electricity was introduced to the world, it changed everything. AI is already proven to be the next big thing, and it will, I'm sure, transform and create. It will transform everything, and it will create enormous value wherever it is applied, just like electricity once did. As with any technology trends picking up, remember big data or blockchain or crypto, people rush to predict huge breakthroughs in the next few years, but it usually never happens. It takes time to get adoption of the new technology, but once it's mainstream, the benefits and the number of applications grow exponentially. We humans tend to overestimate the impact of technology in the short term, but underestimate underestimated in the long term. And that's known as Amaras Law. Although being around since 1950s, AI is only starting to get real recognition, but the benefits of applying it will be unlimited. As humanity, we progressed due to our unique ability to learn. Because of this learning, we can progress at scale. That's also the main domain of AI. And that's what makes it stand out from any other technology which has ever been created. AI can learn quickly, meaning its intelligence is increasing. In 2013, AI had the same intelligence as a 4-year-old kid. By 2029, studies forecast that AI will likely surpass human intelligence. But it can do already pretty cool things. If you don't believe me, here AI making Frank Sinatra sing Toxic by Britney Spears.
With a taste of a poison paradise, I'm addicted to you. Girl, you know that you're toxic.
Of course, our human ear can hear that, can catch that there is something off, but it's not so long until tech becomes so fine it will be almost impossible to distinguish if the source is genuine or it's just a deep fake. And although such projects may seem purely entertaining, AI as technology holds enormous value when it comes to solving complex problems. You need to know that there are many types of AI, from deep learning and machine learning tools, of which a perfect example is deepfakes, or Tesla self-driving cars and self-diagnosing NASA robots, which use machine learning and AI to constantly analyze new data, and predict what's the next best move. There is also a whole different area of AI, making sense of text, voice, and all unstructured data. And that's my domain. For those getting familiar with AI, these are just computer algorithms designed to make decisions, often using real-time data. There is no magic to it. It's nothing like the scary Terminator robot that is a threat to humanity. On the contrary, AI is like any other technology in that sense. It's created by humans, for our benefit. Okay, I must admit, this picture is not really accurate when it comes to current models of AI, because they are not so simple as if else scripted algorithms. But AI, the main thing of AI is that it's unlike the traditional programming, where you have to manually write the logic that the program uses to produce output from the input data. And I'm sure you saw this famous picture of Margaret Hamilton standing next to a pile of printed out code she wrote for NASA. This is the logic, this is the algorithm that took first humans to the moon. So AI is completely different game. Here, you train machine learning and AI models by feeding them examples, similar to how children learn. Fun fact, you are training AI systems without even knowing that. See this captcha? These ones are in fact used to train self-driving car models, so that they can recognize different elements in the environment. I know it's tiring. I get them every day. And this brings me to one of the biggest obstacles to good AI, data, or rather huge amounts of data versus our human limitations. This is the reason why AI is such a game changer that will improve exponentially the way we live and work. Because we humans cannot possibly grasp and understand all available data, and we cannot make sense of it instantly. That's not how our computer, our human brains work. That's why, because data for us can be overwhelming, and it usually is. According to American psychologist George Miller, who conducted a study in 1956, human brain can only consume so much information before becoming overloaded. In fact, most people can handle only 7 chunks of information, plus 1 or 2, plus minus 2 at the time. And you've probably heard of paradox of choice, where having more options are actually making us unable to make decisions. We feel frozen, we feel paralyzed. Now, think how many databases and systems you need to interact at work every day. Their data is difficult to make sense of, and we cannot see how everything relates. Lots of things are overlooked, and people use their gut feeling instead of taking decisions based or at least supported by data. But computers love data. That's what computers and AI are perfect for. AI can help you filter the most relevant to what you're looking for data and information almost instantly. Natural language processing, the type of AI I deal with, helps computers to understand human language, the context behind words or sentences. So you can ask a question in your most natural way by using voice or just some simple question, using human language. And the computer will understand you. It will calculate behind the scenes. It will calculate and show results that are most closely related to your query. So you don't even need to know the keywords. You don't even need to know exactly what you're looking for. It will figure it out on its own. So another cool thing about AI, it can learn and give you more and more accurate results each time you interact with it. Still looking for more reasons to embrace AI. Then think of all the bias. I'm sure you've heard of many shocking cases in systems of justice. Many researchers have highlighted how judges' decisions can be unconsciously influenced by their own personal beliefs, or the work-related examples where employers granted interviews at different rates to candidates with identical resumes, but with names considered to reflect different racial groups. And human decisions are also difficult to review. People lie about the factors they considered, or they may not even understand the factors that influence their thinking, leaving room for unconscious bias. AI can help reduce this bias. Well, technically, it can also reinforce the bias depending on what kind of data it has, but that's another whole different subject. And of course, diversity. Diversity is very closely related to bias. When there is lack of diversity, there is lack of diverse thoughts. If the population that is creating the technology is homogeneous, we are going to get technology that serves best only that type of people. However, with the correct level of oversight and governance, AI can result in the workplace of the future becoming a far more meritocratic, diverse, and even harmonious place for all employees. It's as simple as that. AI learns from the data, learns about the world from the data we feed it. So if the data you give is biased, you'll get biased results. Luckily, there is more and more stress put into understanding how systems are designed, what kind of data is being used, and how those systems come up with the results they do. Governments are also finally putting rules and regulations in place to prevent misuse of AI and reinforce developing explainable AI even further. So explainable AI, explainable artificial intelligence, is a set of processes and methods that allow human users to comprehend and trust the results created by machine learning algorithms. Explainable AI is used to describe an AI model, its expected impact, and potential biases. It contrasts with the black box in machine learning, where even the designer, even the person who designed the algorithm, cannot explain how AI arrived at the particular decision. On April 21st this year, so a bit more than a month ago, the European Commission unveiled its proposal for a regulation underlying and laying down harmonized rules on artificial intelligence. Opposite to what we are seeing in China, which is quite frankly frightening, EU advocates for rules that follow a risk-based approach, where AI systems that are considered a threat to the safety, livelihoods, and the rights of people will be banished and banned. This includes AI systems or applications that manipulate human behavior to circumvent users' free will. So, for example, toys that use voice assistants and encourage dangerous behavior of minors. Those and systems that allow social scoring by governments will also be banned. But before we move to the examples of how AI is used these days, I want to bring another topic where AI is a game changer. For me and my colleagues at Untried, the most promising and exciting area where AI can help where no previous technology could is tapping into tribal knowledge. Tribal knowledge means that all the unwritten information and practices that are part of every company, usually that they are not, this kind of knowledge is not codified or standardized in any way. Tribal knowledge is typically in heads of a very few senior people, senior employees who have been there, done that for a while. And what's even more frightening, that the amount of tribal knowledge in the company is directly proportional to the years of existence and their growth and the underlying complexity of the products or services it provides. It may surprise you or not, but tribal knowledge can be as high as 50% of all work-related knowledge in some companies with very complex products or services. For example, in companies with legacy systems and applications, sometimes there is only one or two people in a company of thousands of people, of employees, who know how to navigate and fix problems without bringing the whole system down. What happens if those employees retire or leave? Well, usually that knowledge dies, and then it has to be rediscovered, which means very often which means very often that it's a high cost for the company. But AI can come to rescue. Even though most of this tribal knowledge hasn't been codified, it lives in a form of a free text of support tickets, reports, or email conversations. AI, or specifically NLP, can tap into this unstructured data and pull all the information that is relevant for the new employee to learn and use. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel, but rather build on top of all the legacy information that's been stored. But enough of the theory. I want to bring up some of the greatest use of AI we've been working on or heard of. So let's look at something very timely, very current. Let's look at the healthcare situation. Millions of people across the world have already got their vaccine. I got mine. And that's thanks to AI. The pace and the scale of the vaccine rollout is unprecedented, and AI plays a crucial role in it. Healthcare organizations harness AI and machine learning models to schedule vaccines, streamline patients' communication, and even prioritize access to those who need the vaccination most. Another great example of use of AI in the healthcare is pneumonia diagnosis. Researchers from Stanford developed an algorithm that assess chest X-rays for signs of disease. Their AI can recognize up to 14 types of medical conditions with one particularly surprising result. AI is better at diagnosing pneumonia than several expert radiologists all working together. Or the Google's AI-based breast cancer detection, and the algorithmic cervical cancer screening developed together with the National Center Institute. The AI developed by Google analyzes X-rays, like the one you see here, known as mammograms, and reduces the number of false negatives. And it has very good success rates. There are many other types of AI that we utilize in different sectors. One of the projects I had a chance of working on was using NLP, so the field that is helping computers understand human language, to analyze patients' data, which allowed for better management of patients' visits. If you think about how many patients a typical doctor has to see every day, they only have 5 minutes to analyze all the historical data for the patients. And usually it's many systems where this data is stored. In the particular hospital we've been helping, it was around 120 different systems. Just imagine, how can you know where all the data is? So what we did is creating a system that was reviewing both structured and unstructured data from medical records and doctor's notes, the hieroglyphs, creating an accurate or more accurate, because obviously sometimes the OCR is not perfect, and accurate and comprehensive health portrait of the patient. So analyzing what kind of medications this patient has been on and the patterns, if something has changed. And this was allowing for more effective patients service and faster diagnosis. I just changed this slide because I don't have the slide for the other one, but this is not related. I just didn't want to show you the boob all the time. Anyway, so another use case, one I'm very proud of working on, is AI being used to prevent crime, to prevent crime and assist public much better. AI has proven to be massively beneficial to policing, as big data sets can be processed faster and risk assessed more accurately, and crime or even terrorist attacks predicted and sometimes prevented. Simply, AI can help prevent and solve more cases in a shorter period of time. And there is a lot of work to do. According to Home Office data, so this is the slide, the proportion of crimes solved by police in Wales has fallen to the lowest lowest level recorded. The problem is that crime investigations are inherently expensive. Each case takes a lot of man hours. Resources may not be such a big problem for big cities like London, but resource poor cities are less able to reduce investigators' caseloads. There are lots of systems and lots of siloed data. But the good news is that AI can cut the time to research and find patterns in data, and also is in sources where people may not even look for, or they even know that such data exists. Traditionally, when a person, a witness, called to report an accident in UK, it's 999 call, the most life-threatening urgent cases. A person in the control room would take a note and then analyze as quickly as human can to assess what's being said, to assess the risk level. Based on that, they would dispatch a number of officers according to seriousness of the situation. However, and it's quite sad that around 40% of 999 calls recorded by the Met, so the Metropolitan Police and the London Police, are considered non-valuable. So these ones are calls like pranks, miscellaneous, or drop-offs. And this takes a huge and valuable time and resources, which otherwise could be assigned to helping people who are in real danger. What we are seeing is by using AI, the system can automatically analyze what's being reported, and all crucial data is surfaced from many previously siloed systems in real time without human intervention or engaging valuable time and focus of police officers. This gives police staff more time to focus on what's the most important task to do next, understanding the situation, making an informed risk assessment, and ultimately deciding how to handle and how to react to the situation. And the thing is that we cannot hide from the fact fatigue and stress contribute to many accidents, not only in policing, but in any situation, any industry. Therefore, one of the key advantages of AI is its ability to always stay focused, alert, and relaxed on all times. These cases I just gave you are use cases of AI that can have a very positive outcome on our lives. But like with everything, there are two sides to the story. Like losing jobs to AI, for example. However, in the long run, it may not be necessarily a bad thing. A recent McKinsey report estimates that by 2030, robotics and AI will take human jobs, but only in less than 5% of the roles which are currently performed by people. But on the other side of the coin is that it has been reported also in the same report that technology will enhance 60% of jobs rather than displace human altogether. Many new exciting jobs will be created. Imagine, it's hard to imagine that a data scientist or a YouTuber as a profession didn't exist 10 years ago. And AI tools and robots our digital co-workers will enable people to perform roles or create roles that were previously beyond our capabilities. Automated co-workers will also increase individuals' productivity, enabling us to work shorter days. So those four week work weeks will be probably easy, while benefiting the economy as a whole. Imagine the effect of automating routine tasks, giving your team more time to work on exciting things, exciting projects that inspire and motivate, in turn, helping your business grow and succeed. So, how to prepare for this AI revolution? Well, if this pandemic taught us anything, is that digital transformation and the need for technology can be done fast and needs to be done fast. The way we work has rapidly changed. Remote work presents new challenges, such as information exchange limits. So how can we connect and bond with other people across distances? How can we enable innovation and brainstorming at scale? And to prepare for this revolution, for the AI revolution and digital transformation, employers need to become more data driven and use technologies rather than fight them to improve working practices. We've noticed within the most successful companies we work with is these following three areas. First, companies which are successful establish a culture of collaboration to unleash innovation. So it allows learning from each other in the environment which is safe to make mistakes because it's essential to progress, to learn, to test. And also it ensures that new techniques and working practices can be safely tested. Two, drive intelligent productivity. So what it means is that we should be making things worth doing, empowering employees to focus their time, energy, and brain power on things they want to focus, what matters to them and to the organization. This will help to keep employers engaged and keen to learn more. And third, making company assets accessible. So what it means is that by having a culture of openness where information and knowledge can be shared easily, it helps your talent thrive. Again, here AI systems can help immensely such employees to benefit and tap into knowledge beyond silos. So how can you, as an employer or employee, start with AI? We found that the best way to start to implement AI projects is to start small. And I should keep clicking. With all our clients, we always seek for the self-contained and narrow use case with a well-defined value proposition, because we all love our ROI. This allows for teams and the management to be more inclined to make this initial investment into AI, as the initial risk and the resource commitments are low. This may be, for example, selecting only few products, the data from few products or few systems which company has that need to be integrated and the data pulled into the AI engine, or testing AI engines on static dumped real company data rather than undergoing the bureaucratic procurement nightmare. and asking for permissions or security permissions to the APIs, for example. Once both their teams and your teams learn that the outcomes are okay, are satisfactory, we can then expand to a wider range of clients' data, data systems, or products. To sum up, people use technology to solve problems of our own nature, to reach beyond our limitations. AI is the perfect candidate as it enhances our speed, precision, and effectiveness of our efforts. There is one paradox. As companies try to streamline their businesses by using artificial intelligence to make critical decisions, they may inadvertently make themselves less effective and less efficient, because the right way is to advocate and for the human and AI, human plus AI approach, using AI systems alongside humans, not instead of them. We should employ AI while keeping humans in the loop, making them more efficient, productive, and happy. As we progress with AI, we will be able to figure out not only how to solve problems, but what problems are worth solving. With AI, we are finally able to get more comprehensive insight on what the patterns are, and we are all also finally able to work on things that we enjoy and leave the mundane, repetitive tasks to robots who do a much better job than we do. We are finally humanizing work. That's why I'm optimistic about the future of AI. And at Android, we think that AI will solve many more challenges that it creates. Thank you so much.